Hey guys, this is Gabriel Lorenzi, creator of the blog Grupo Dicas, one of the biggest travel blogs in the world, and today I am here to talk to you about the top 10 tips of Buenos Aires. These are the 10 tips that you cannot miss before traveling there. So it will be quick tips, useful, and without winding up. So don't forget to give us that like, subscribe to the channel because that really helps us a lot, and buckle up! Well, we decided to gather all the best tips from all the videos and articles we have in our blogs to make a group of the most important tips for your trip to Buenos Aires. So these are the tips that we think will make the biggest difference and will be most useful for your planning. So take a look and let's go for the first. The first tip that will influence most of your trip, both in terms of crowding of tourist attractions and the total budget of the trip, is the season. For those who do not know, during the high seasons, Buenos Aires is much more expensive. High seasons are July, August, December, and January. June still gets a little bit too. Why? Because of the school vacations in Brazil, as well as their summer and winter vacations there. What happens in July and August, it's winter, so many people go to enjoy the high season in Bariloche as well and end up passing through Buenos Aires. That's why the city ends up being much more expensive in the low season. Everything that you're going to contract for your trip, airplane tickets, lodging, everything that you're going to do there, you end up saving gas and paying cheaper for everything else. The second tip is very important. Buenos Aires is a big city and the tourist attractions are a little bit scattered, so location is essential. So check out where to stay in Buenos Aires. We have a video that we made just for this about where to stay in Buenos Aires that explains it all. But in summary, the tourist center, which is where the most historic and important places of Buenos Aires are, is not the ideal place to stay. It's different from other cities in the world and European cities. In Buenos Aires, it's not worth staying there because of the security. It's not such a beautiful and pleasant area to stay, to walk, and to eat at night because it's a little bit difficult in terms of security. It's a little bit complicated. So our recommendation is Recoleta or Palermo, which are sensational and close to everything. Our recommendation is Recoleta, but Palermo is also a great option. Staying in Recoleta, you are already close to everything. It's a charming neighborhood, super beautiful, super pleasant, and the lodging is a little bit more expensive, yes, but because it's one of the best locations of all. To help you, we will leave here below in the video description. You click on show more, we'll leave all the links that we'll mention here in the video. One of them is the link of the map with the hotels. We ended up customizing a map with the area that we think is the best location and has the best sites in Buenos Aires. So if you click on this link, you will open this map in the search engine that we always use to make reservations, and that's the biggest in the world. You will see that you probably know it. It's always has the best prices and free cancellation, which is very good. You can already book, guarantee the best price, and if you need it later, you can cancel, and we customize this map so you can go in and take a look, and you will see that a little bit towards the end of this area is written Palermo and Recoleta. These are the two best neighborhoods you're staying in. Then if you go there, you're fine. The third tip is a little bit like the second one, which is to split the tours because the regions are a little bit far apart. So don't do tours on the same day that are too far away from each other because we end up losing a lot of time and it's not worth it. So reserve one day to go to La Boca, which is where Bombonera and Caminito are. Set aside another day to go to Palermo, where there are other attractions. Recoleta is also very nice if you set aside a whole day to walk around there. You can see the Recoleta Cemetery. You can also see the Floralis Generica. So you have several separate regions there, and of course the downtown area as well. You have the Avenida 9 de Julio, the Plaza de Mayo, you also have the Casa Rosada, and nearby there is Puerto Madero too. So separate them by region and you will optimize the time of your trip. Fourth tip, safety and attention. Why? It's not that Buenos Aires is a dangerous city. Some people talk a bit like that, but no, it's just like São Paulo and similar to some cities in Brazil. You're used to it, so you just have to pay a little attention. There can be some thefts, some things, but like any big city here in South America, we find it very similar to São Paulo, even the logistics of the city. So be careful, especially in the central region. Try to visit the tourist attractions there in the center during the morning and afternoon periods, and try to avoid them a little bit at night. And the La Boca neighborhood is also a little bit more complicated. It's the most complicated neighborhoods in terms of security. So go there in the morning and in the afternoon, see Caminito quickly, come back. Don't explore too many areas that you don't know, so you don't get lost and don't have bigger problems problem. So you have to pay attention to the areas, but in general, it's not all that big of a deal. You just have to pay attention. Another tip is about the cab. There are a lot of cabs there that scam people. We can speak for experience because we have been through this time, especially the first cab from the airport. We arrived and took a cab. It gave a certain amount. I thought it was a little bit expensive, but I paid because it was the first time there. I did not know that when I made the same trip back to the airport, it was 4 times cheaper. So the taxi driver from before charged me 4 times more. You are there in the city and you have just arrived and you will not even argue properly. So they end up taking advantage of this a little bit. And there was another situation as well, so stay a little bit vigilant with the taxi drivers. Uber, Cabify, and other apps work well there. There is public transportation, but we don't need to use it because if you're well located, you can do everything. Take an Uber or a Cabify when you need it. That will help you and you can avoid major problems. And the last safety tip is also about the exchange rate. Many people ask, where is it cheaper for me to buy? Buy the pesos in my country or buy them when you get there? You can actually get it a little cheaper there, yes, but we don't think it's worth it. It's a small saving, it's not much of a savings. You will save a little bit and you will lose travel time. And the places where you will change the money, they're a little bit, they're not dangerous, but they are a little bit far away and are very close buildings. We didn't feel very comfortable the first time we went and did that. We think it's much better to the other times to buy the money beforehand, to go there with more tranquility and also more safety if you can do that in your country. And guys, any doubt you may have about the trip or any help you need, opinions, you can send a direct message for us on social networks that will gladly help and answer. And follow us there because we're always traveling around the world, trying to show travel tips in a very cool way and our family routine for little ones too, which are a blast. So add us there, follow us, and send us a message that will help with great pleasure, guys. The 5th tip is 2 tourist points that we didn't find many blogs indicating when we went for the first time that surprised me a lot and were very nice, which is the Japanese garden, which is a very beautiful garden. It's like a botanical garden, but it's Japanese themed, so it has bridges that are carp, rivers with many carps, it has trees and bonsais, it has a lot of things. It's a beautiful scenario and we loved it. And there's also Bosques de Palermo, which is a park in Palermo that's very beautiful. We really enjoyed spending an afternoon there, strolling and walking. The scenario is beautiful too. We thought it would be nice to tell you that they are 2 very good places. The garden, you have to buy the ticket, but it's cheap. The Bosques de Palermo is open. Most of the sites in Buenos Aires you don't need to pay for tickets, but some you do. For the Bombonera tour to get into the Teatro Colón and to go on the Tigre River tour, which is a very nice boat trip, we recommend it. For some tourist points it's necessary, so buy in advance that you pay cheaper and don't leave it to buy it at the time because it's more expensive. You will pay the 6% IOF because the purchase is in foreign currency. It will be in pesos there and you will also end up losing time on your trip, standing in line, and it may run out. Buy beforehand in your country because it's always cheaper. Online is always cheaper than at the box office and you end up with more ease buying a website with your language and buy everything in one place. We'll even leave here below in the description of the video the link to the website that we use to buy our tickets whenever we go there. It's a very good website, the prices are great and it has all the tours and tickets, so you already buy everything in one place and close a purchase. It's much easier and you receive everything by email. It's really easy. 6th tip, for you to use your cell phone there. The cell phone helped us a lot. It helps in every trip, you know, but in Buenos Aires it helped a lot because we did a lot of things on your own and you have to explore the city a lot. So if you have the cell phone with internet working, you can locate yourself, play everything on Google Maps, walk from one place to the other, see whether the attractions are, what time they are open or closed. It really helped a lot. So buy a prepaid international chip. For those who don't know, it's the best way to use the internet abroad. If you go with the other option, which is the international roaming of your carrier, it's in your country activated, it's a fortune. It's the worst possible option. Our experiences were terrible, so don't do it. Buy a prepaid chip, which is much cheaper. These are international chips that some companies sell and you can buy, or there, which we don't recommend because you will have to speak in Spanish and it's super hard to set up. You can even save a little bit, but the difference is very little. When we went, it was a savings of $2 or $3, and buying beforehand in your country is much easier. That's what we always do. I'll leave the link here below from the website we buy. They are very good. Their signal is excellent everywhere there in Argentina and around the world. So you buy it before and receive the chip at home in a few days, and when you arrive in Argentina, getting off the plane, you put it in and start using the internet easily, which helps you for your entire trip. 7th tip, Eat at least one gelato, which is their very good ice cream. It's just like in Italy, they also have an ice cream gelato, which is very good too, but they have different tastes. We found Buenos Aires helados to be sensational, and the alfajores too. Of course, even to bring them everything, they are very good, but helado ended up catching our attention a little bit because people don't advertise it very much, and it's very nice. There are several ice cream parlors around. Go to the one you think is the most beautiful when you're passing by. There's a very nice one called Fredo. We liked it because they had it in several places and we ate there 3 or 4 times. There are in the malls, on the streets, in several places. It's like a Starbucks, a store that has several stores spread around the neighborhoods and the malls. It was very worthwhile. It has coffee, snacks, and the ice cream there is delicious, and the prices are not expensive. The 8th tip is about shopping. Many people ask, is it worth to shop in Argentina? Is it not? How is it? In the past it was worth it because the difference in the currency was not so big, but now with the Argentine crisis that extended for a while, things there, inflation went up a lot and the products ended up being much more expensive. So today, some products there in our country can be a little bit cheaper. So many people are disappointed when they get there because they think that because it's abroad they will buy cheapest things, just like in the United States. No, unfortunately not. So research carefully, isn't it worth it? We don't think so. We do buy some things because there are different things there. You will see things that don't exist in your country. Cold clothing is very nice to buy there. Thermal clothes, those sporty clothes for when it's very cold and that can withstand low temperatures, sporty clothes. Finally, there are all the stores. There are many cool and different things, so it's worth buying, yes. Just do not expect everything to be much cheaper than in your country because unfortunately now it's not. We highly recommend that you go to the malls. They are very nice. There is the Alto Palermo Mall in the Palermo neighborhood, which we liked it a lot, and there is the Galleria Pacifico, which is a tourist point aside. Even if you're not going to buy anything, visit it. It's very close to downtown. It's huge and it has many stores, all the ones we were looking for, the famous one that tourists look for, and it has a ceiling painted with sky that's very beautiful. People go there just to observe the ceiling. You can see that it's very beautiful, it's very cool. So if you don't buy anything, at least stop by to take some pictures. The 9th tip is travel insurance. People, do not travel abroad without travel insurance. Many people sometimes don't even know it, so they don't even realize it and travel without one. We never leave our country without one because it's very important. And what is travel insurance? It covers you for any unforeseen event that you may have abroad. A medical consultation, hospitalization abroad is very expensive. You can spend a fortune. We have already been to a consultation. I had to go because I had an infected throat there in Buenos Aires. The insurance covered everything, so I didn't have to pay anything. They reimbursed me very well, so it helps a lot. It covers medical assistance, dental assistance, theft of luggage, loss of luggage, and several other things that can happen, unforeseen things that unfortunately can happen on your trip. And the price is very low. People don't know, but for you to spend about 5, 6, 7 days there in Buenos Aires, you will pay on average $13 to $15 in a good insurance. Our golden tip to save even more is use the price comparator. It's a tool that compares the price of insurance in all insurance companies. I'll leave here in the description of the video along with the other links this travel insurance comparator. You play there the date of your trip and it already gives you the prices. You choose the best, the cheapest, the one that's more in line with what you're looking for, and hire it. In 5 minutes they already send you the policy to your email. You travel calmly and there's no problem. The 10th tip is about transportation in Buenos Aires. Many people use the subway. You can get around a lot there with the subway. We ended up not using it so much because as we were well located there in the Recoleta neighborhood, which is close to everything, we did a lot of things walking. From there, we were able to get to the places, and the ones that were a little further away, we took an Uber or a Cabify. That's why the cell phone is also important. We use it a lot, and then you end up being able to move around easily. Uber is not expensive, and Cabify, we even found it a little bit cheaper than in our country. It was well worth it. We used it a lot and it was very easy. A nice thing when you arrive at the airport and go to your hotel, because we recommend that you already plan your transportation there so that you don't have those problems that we suffer when we arrive and be the victim of some scam or a malicious taxi driver, something, and so that you arrive calmly at your hotel. There's a website, I'll leave it here below. It's the same website that sells tickets and tours. They sell this transfer. They are all trustworthy companies, all registered, and they already do this transportation from the airport to the hotel, so you can relax, get there with your luggage, your suitcases, leave everything in the hotel room, get rid of this worry and start enjoying your trip. We highly recommend it because it's a product that's not expensive, it's much safer and much more practical. You can trust the company and you arrive safely wherever you want to go. And that's it, guys. I hope you liked the video. If you like it, don't forget to give us that like and subscribe to the channel, because that really helps us a lot. And don't forget to watch the video on how to save a lot in Buenos Aires and Argentina. It's a sensational video. It teaches you how to plan your entire trip from beginning to the end, planning everything with the main tips in saving a lot. Your trip will be much cheaper. I'll leave it here along with the playlist that has all the other videos from Buenos Aires there for you to watch. And that's it, guys. I hope you liked the video and have nice trips.